There's nobody I really respect more as a couple.
They always say yes.
They are both get-it-done kind of people.
Wherever they go, there's momentum.
They never stop.
They are so steadfast in their faith.
We aspire to be more like them.
Lives have been enriched.
They've just done what they feel is the right thing to do.
Mom and Dad were both from South Louisiana, which is where the first four of us were born.
We grew up in Plaquemine, Louisiana. Everyone knew everybody. Our lives centered around our school, our Catholic school, and our church parish.
My parents were both Acadian French. In fact, they both spoke French. Dad was always working. Mom was always looking after the kids, but always doing something for her family or somebody else.
We grew up watching our parents volunteer. My mother volunteered for everything at church and at school.
So we would have to ask permission. Can I have that cookie, or can I have some of that cake, Mom? Because it was always going out.
So our family ended up in Midland, Texas because of our father's job. He, of course, then went back to Louisiana to go to Nicholls State, which was the best decision of his life because that's where he met Georgia.
We met on a blind date, Friday the 13th, March 1970.
And our mom was thrilled that Mark was bringing home a nice Cajun girl because her last name was Arsenault, and she thought it was Arceneaux. Come to find out, Georgia is actually a lovely Italian girl with the last name Orsino, Orcino. And boy, did Mom love Georgia.
Georgia taught school in New Orleans, and that's where Kristen was born.
As a young married couple who is informed that their firstborn is going to have great challenges, that might have been a turning point away from the Lord, but it wasn't. For Mark and Georgia, that was a defining moment in their faith.
Mark described her as his angel.
Greg, he is I consider him to be a wonderful human being. Can't say enough about him.
Growing up was fabulous. Both of my parents were very involved in both Kristen and I's activities and lives, and really invested in not only making sure that we were successful in school and sports and things of that, but also successful in gaining skills for later on in life.
When Kristen went to college, she was studying to be a preschool assistant. Georgia went every day with her and then came home and they did their homework together.
So Mom went to school with Kristen. I was her mentor, and Kristen walked across that stage. It was a proud moment. It was a proud moment for us.
What did you study mostly? What kind of things did you learn about?
Learned about being a teacher assistant. I like seeing smiles on the kids' faces.
So they have traveled the world with Special Olympics watching Kristen.
I did ice skating, basketball, gymnastics, track and field. I did a lot of other sports. Bowling, golf.
Looking back on it, there couldn't have been two better parents for Kristen, ever.
I've watched Kristen play basketball, I've watched golf, and Mark has been super selfless, and he's done this as long as I've known him.
Is he a good coach?
Yes.
Yeah?
He is a good coach.
Who's a better putter, you or him?
Oh, don't forget putting.
We started Cardinal One in 2008, Mark and I and two other partners. We sold that business in 2012, and we started Cardinal 2 in 2013.
Georgia eventually went to work for Don, and we just became close friends.
And she organized the consultants, organized the sales effort, organized the events, organized me. And the problem we had with Georgia, we couldn't find anything she wasn't excellent at.
They were involved in the community at All Saints long before I had arrived, and I had heard their story But throughout the time as pastor there, I got to see their story lived out by the way they would volunteer.
When Father Tony came to All Saints as our pastor, Georgia and I wanted to go meet him.
And as we left our meeting, we said, now, Father, if there's anything we can do, just let us know.
I found out we were doing a capital campaign for the diocese.
So then Georgia gets a phone call a few months later.
It's Father Tony.
Georgia calls me and I'm like, you've got to be kidding. And she said, no.
And they said yes.
So following the meeting, Jane and I walked to the parking lot and we both went, ah!
What did we just get ourselves into?
And then we just started laughing and said, okay, here we go. But by the grace of God, we did it.
She leads by example. She gets people to do the things that they need to do.
And you know, whatever you're working on with either one of them, it's going to come out better than you expected.
Whenever I see them, I see two people that witness to the love of God that they've experienced in their lives and in their marriage.
Mark, as a everyman, seems to fit in every circle that I go to.
Having played hundreds of rounds with Mark, I can say pretty thoroughly that I know him, and I like what I see.
One day, Mark asked me what I really wanted out of golf. I said, well, I really want to be as good as you. And he kind of raised an eyebrow and looked at me and said, that ain't happening.
Greg went to Jesuit College Prep, where their motto is a man for others. I thought it interesting that Greg did not need to go to Jesuit to learn that his dad, with whom he's lived his whole life, is a man for others.
I attribute a lot of my intangibles and integrity to just the way that they've lived their lives. And, I think without them, I don't know where I'd be.
Their values are deep-rooted in faith. You see that in each of their actions.
I couldn't believe that we would be in Colorado or Florida or New Mexico, wherever we might be. They would seek out and find somewhere where they could spend their Sunday morning at church.
Recently, we were visiting a 94-year-old friend, and his wife mentioned that the caregiver has a housing issue. So we're all walking out the door, and Mark says, well, you guys go ahead, I'm going to stay back here for a minute. So what was Mark doing? Well, Mark's making phone calls to help the caregiver's housing issue.
Some Adonis situations have called upon a friend that would go well beyond what you would ever expect, and Georgia was always there.
They will do anything to help anybody, whether it's family, friends, or those in need.
I watched Mark kind of flourish over the years, and he was a trustee for 6 years, and of those 6 years he was chairman for 2. And as chairman, he really embraced the job.
By being the glue that brought so much of the diocese and the foundation together at a time when we were both navigating something that we'd never done before with the capital campaign. Mark sensed that, and he used his abilities to bring people together.
A lot of people, once they hit retirement, it's time to downshift and chill out, and it's been almost the opposite for them. They're busier now than I think they ever have been.
I feel that Mark and Georgia are definitely deserving of this award. They have been doing what they do, which is caring for others, for as long as we've known them, 30 plus years.
Mark and Georgia don't see themselves as being in a class of people who deserve these sorts of awards.
It's just what they do.
And do it well, and very quiet about it. Very quiet.
Lots of folks give of their wealth and donations, and it's hard to do, but it's actually easy compared to your time. And Mark and Georgia do both.
It's about what you can do to inspire other people. If you can inspire other people, then that is the essence of the Catholic Foundation Award.
It kills Mark and Georgia to get the attention that they're getting tonight. In fact, I'm surprised they haven't called in sick because he just wants to do good work, and Georgia's the same way.
They don't think they deserve it because it's not about awards for them. It's never been about that, and that makes it even more special that they're getting it.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think that's right.
Okay, good.
It's an honor to be asked to speak on your behalf. I know that you're a little uneasy about this honor that you're receiving, and I think to make it a little easier for you, you might want to go back to your South Louisiana roots a little bit and just think of this as a little lagniappe for a life well lived.
Job well done, good and faithful servant.
On behalf of the entire extended Lyons clan, congratulations on this most important honor.
The foundation will grow because of your leadership.
You are the best. We love you.
I can't think of anybody I'd rather be at a dinner with celebrating this award.
We want to celebrate you tonight and the gift you have been to this Catholic community.
Mark, you've been a great Catholic mentor to me. You've been a great business partner, servant leader.
You are an inspiration to us all.
Cheers.
Congratulations, Mom and Dad.
Congratulations, Georgia and Mark.
I thank God every day that you're my parents.
We're so proud of you and the way you live your lives.
On behalf of the Catholic community, we thank you for all that you have done.
Congratulations, Gigi and Pops.
Congratulations, Gigi and Pops.
We love you.
We all love you.